do it.
Josh, how are you?
Good. How are y'all doing?
Good.
So is there anything to read into how many snaps Tarquin got versus Murphy on Saturday? Has there been some separation at that position at this point, or are you still working that out competition-wise?
I mean, I think you can read in it whatever you want to read in it. I think it speaks for itself right now. Mike's been a little more consistent. Murphy's also playing good football, so it's just I want to keep Murphy on the field and keep him playing and keep him getting game reps. He'd be our next guy up, and Mike's been playing really well.
A lot of issues with penalties in that ASU game. You know, what's kind of the message? How do you solve that going forward?
No more penalties. We had some cadence things. We've addressed those. And, you know, I think it's just our first time in that atmosphere. And we've got to, you know, as coaches, I got to do a better job preparing them for that. And we got to do a better job of handling. Obviously, we'll be in one of those again Saturday.
It seems like Justin, in particular, had a little bit of trouble with, you know, some false starts late game, staff issues. You know, for him, is there things to work on in particular with him and Caleb?
Nothing in particular, just more repetition. I mean, just getting more reps at it. And obviously, we've had a lot of crowd noise. We've been practicing crowd noise the whole time. That's probably what's somewhat disappointing, you know, that we've been practicing crowd noise since day 3 at camp. So we didn't handle it very well. We got to handle it better.
Did the run game look as good on film as it did to the naked eye on Saturday?
I mean, it looked good. I mean, obviously, it was efficient, and we were getting hat on hat. You know, I think that even when you're having good plays, you know, you're always trying to press yourself to, okay, what if I'm playing against the top 5 teams in the country? Does that block win? And that's our challenge every week is to have the maturity to understand that and keep progressing ourselves towards that point to where we can go be, you know, hopefully a championship team.
What were your thoughts on pass protection on Saturday?
I mean, solid, not great. I thought Jonah a little bit uncharacteristically missed some guys around the edge. It was just okay. We can be better.
What's your evaluation of the guards at this point and how they've progressed?
Progressed well, you know, from week 1 to week 5 now. You know, I think there's been a lot of improvement. There's a lot of improvement still to make. You know, we've got to play with our hands better. We've got to control people better. We can't let guys that we're blocking separate from blocks and make tackles. That's really our challenge for our 2 guys interior-wise. And so a lot of those other things, they've continued to progress and get better at it, but that's something I know we've been working on. And it'll be a challenge with these guys this week.
Not just the penalties, but what's been your evaluation of how Justin's been doing, taking over that starting center spot for a few games now?
I think he's done well, you know, minus the penalties, obviously. But I think he's done well. He's done a really good job of getting us on the right people. There hasn't been a lot of mistakes as far as who we're IDing and who we're working to, where we're going. But, I mean, overall, I would say, you know, he's in the B range at this point. He knows he can play better, and, you know, we're gonna continue to get better as the season goes along.
Coach, obviously changing the play at the line is a major part of this offense. When plays are coming in a little late, how challenging is that for an offensive line, and do you think that contributed at all to some of the false starts early in the game?
Well, I think it's a whole combination of things. I mean, it was our crowd noise. It's, you know, it always takes an extra 5-6 seconds to communicate what you communicate in 1 second out here in practice. So it was somewhat their crowd noise. It was somewhat maybe, you know, we'd had a week off before and we weren't operating the way we normally operate. The plays maybe late, whatever it is. I mean, but we have to understand whatever it is, and we have to speed up. I mean, a lot of it is our demeanor up front too. You know, I mean, I was telling the guys during the game, like, we're getting to play, and it's literally taking us like 10 seconds to get set. So all that's just operation. We've been working on that big time this week, operating better. We got to operate better. We got to get up, get down, to get set, make our calls on our stance, and roll.
What stands out in the matchup with Colorado?
You know, obviously they're multiple in what they do. They can kind of attack you from anywhere. This scheme, I've seen it. You know, having coached in the SEC before, this kind of comes out of the Alabama tree, so you know, they're going to play down the middle of you up front. They're not going to go around you. They're going to play right through you. So we got to be good at playing through the middle of people. They've got a good pass rusher on the edge, number 44. He's a talented guy. I think one of their best characteristics is just how hard they're playing as a defense. They run to the ball, they swarm, they play very hard, and so obviously they'll be cranked up with their atmosphere Saturday, and we got to be ready to go bring an intense game to the field.
Let's do one more.
Any young guys stepping up lately on scout team or?
You know, we're still developing there somewhat. You know, Murphy is the guy out of the twos that's had the best moments lately. You know, Elijah Page has started to improve some. I like the way he's improving, getting better. He's had a couple of good days in the last 2 weeks. You know, some of the other guys really, you know, I'd say Killian O'Connor is really solid. He knows his assignments. He does a great job for us. But some of the other guys, we really got to get those guys to step up, and they got to improve their game. And you know, last year, I told the twos this today. You know, by the end of the season last year, 2 guys that were in the 2 group were starting. You know, so if that is when that moment comes for you, if and when it comes, you know, will you be ready to help the team win? So that's a challenge. Can't get lulled to sleep by you're not in the starting 5, because it can happen fast.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.